Coming up in this Flirtini, we're asking the question, are they flirting or just being nice? It's a tale as old as time, a tale as old as time in the flirt. And today, we're going to help you figure this out as we welcome friendship coach Jenna Anderson to the show. Fueled by a real-life flirt at TJ Maxx, we'll break down how to tell if someone's flirting with you and why it's less about them and more about you. We'll also talk about making new friends, regardless of whether you're an introvert, an extrovert, a social butterfly, or socially anxious. I know it can feel daunting, but after this Flirtini, I think it'll be a little bit easier. Finally, Jenna gets personal, sharing her bisexuality journey in dating, what it was like dating her first woman, and the lessons she's learned along the way. Oh, and of course, we've got flirting tips. So, whether you want to make a move or just feel confident putting yourself out there, this episode is for you. Let's do this, flirties.
I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. I heard you wanted to flirt. Hello, my name is Benjamin. I'm the flirt coach and a gay Libra. Everyone has an inner flirt.
Hey, Flirty.
Live, laugh, flirt.
Work the flirt.
Work the flirt. Delulu is the Salulu. Expert on the flirt.
Hey, Flirty. There's always another flirt.
Everyone has an inner flirt. Get out of your head and into the flirt.
Flirties, today we're going to be answering one of the hottest questions in flirting and dating. Are they flirting or being nice? And then throwing in a little bit of bisexuality for good measure with friendship coach Jenna Anderson. Hello and welcome.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
Excited to have you on Flirtations today for this Flirtini. Yes.
Yeah. I love the name, by the way. That's so clever.
Thank you. Well, it really, the origin story of the Flirtini came from one of my favorite episodes of Sex and the City, where the friends, right? All the friends, they're on a rooftop bar of sorts. No, they were at a party in Manhattan, drinking Flirtinis.
That is a show I definitely need to finish. I got into season 3 and then stopped. Should have kept going.
I mean, there's no better time to start back than now.
True. That's true. I'm like more of a gossip girl kind of girly.
Yeah.
Like I've got that going on in the background when I'm doing stuff around my apartment, but maybe I'll switch it up.
Maybe time to hit play again and finish up the show. Really, as the new season of And Just Like That will be debuting, I hope, my God, in the near future. I'm waiting. All right, Jenna, before we get into a little Q&A on this Flirtini, I'd love for the flirties to learn a little bit more about you and how you got into this work of friendship.
Oh my gosh. So I kind of came into it by being laid off first. I was laid off back in October, and I have had this kind of idea in my head for so long about wanting to help people make friends. And I have lived in so many different countries and cities in my life. And every time I had to move, I had to learn how to make friends over and over again. Yeah. And it's something I got really good at. And it's something where if I can put myself in any community, in any space, and make a friend. And I want to teach people that skill too. And a lot of that comes from self-confidence. So I help people make friends. I do one-on-one coaching. I have a podcast idea in the future. So I'm super stoked to be here because it's giving me some practice. And I help people gain the confidence to make friends anywhere they go.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What is one of the number one, I mean, I love asking this question, and then I'm going to ask the reverse of the question. One of the number one struggles you feel like people have making friends? You mentioned the confidence piece, but is it just that, or maybe some other things come into play?
There's a lot. Oh my God, there's so many things. So definitely with the confidence is one thing that my clients mention the most. But the other thing about it is actually time management and like energy management. So this is something that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to making friends is like, we're all adults. We're super busy. We have so many things going on. We don't think intentionally about making friends, and therefore we don't plan to do it. So a lot of people just don't have the time management skills and the knowledge of what gives and takes their energy in order to make friends.
I can relate to that as well. And then you throw in the lack of perhaps confidence, self-esteem, self-worth. You're on the more introverted side. Maybe you've got some social anxiety present. All that has been true for me. And then what you're speaking to is this experience of maybe overwhelm, burnout from other areas of your life, whether it's work, career, your personal life, family. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm making friends and putting myself in social situations in the real world is already difficult, not impossible, but hard. But if my social battery, like my just life battery, is already on the lower end of the spectrum, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But what I'm hearing is there's a lot of hope and possibility as well. So what is maybe a success story you have from your client work or something you've heard about a great friendship experience?
I think a success story I've had with a client recently is I have a client who I've had to really work with him on how to feel connected and form relationships. We did something called a social convoy circle. So what he did is he took people in his inner circle. So these are people he already knows, like people from his inner circle, people he feels more connected to. People he feels in his middle circle are people who they're good friends, but they're not like best friends. And then there's people from his outer circle, which is like people who he wants to get to know better. Maybe it's like a friend of a friend, someone he had a connection with at some point, maybe at a party. And, you know, that's a person that's in the back of their mind. So what we did instead of giving a social plan to like get out there and go meet new people was let's look at who you already know. And a lot of people don't think about this. Like, who do you already know from your social circle? And let's connect with them. And so I had him write a list of people from each part of the circle. And we went and we highlighted 5 people he wanted to connect with. And I gave him some homework over the course of a week of, every day you're going to try and connect with one of those people in some way. The ones that you really want to connect deeply to, I want you to set up a phone call with them. And he did it. And I just could see this shift in his confidence and his energy from one week to the next. Like he was smiling more in our calls. He was talking about like how excited he was to have plans with these people in the future. And so that's just something that I'm very happy about. Like I was very happy to work with. You know, it was a little bit of a challenge, but his energy is just completely shifted. And I'm so excited for him to get out there and have that self-confidence when he's ready.
I love that strategy because a couple things I'm hearing are that you're focusing on, like sometimes maybe we feel like, oh, we don't have enough friends, or, oh, it's so hard to make friends, or, oh, I can't get out. You're focusing on all the things that are maybe wrong, that are the problems, but not necessarily focusing on, wow, wait a second. I do have people in my contact list, right? In my DMs or somewhere in your life within your existing networks that you maybe can form deeper connections with, that could invite you to something, that have a friend of a friend. Oh, I know someone that also likes this interest, passion, hobby, whatever. And so I love that you focused on what was already present in his world and really building on that rather than like right away just going to putting him maybe in an uncomfortable situation, because now he's going to be much more confident to go out and strike up a conversation, maybe a flirt or two. You never know.
Yeah. And a lot of that, just kind of going into flirting, but this client also has social anxiety. And so dealing with that as well. And like, I'm not just going to throw my clients with social anxiety right into socializing immediately. I want them to slowly work up to it in a way that, you know, maybe it's like a little bit out of their comfort zone. So when it comes to flirting, like building that self-confidence and having those strategies to deal with your own anxieties is really important. In any context.
I think so too. Small steps. You got to get out of that comfort zone a little bit. But I think sometimes we as coaches, we don't want to set people up for the failure, so to speak, kind of quote unquote, right? We don't want to put them in a position that maybe they're not ready for, but you're not working with us to stay safe and comfortable. You're working with us to get out of your comfort zone. So that's what ultimately we're going to do. All right, Jenna, are they flirting or being nice? You had an experience with this very question recently. Could you share that with the Flirties, please?
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I am bisexual. I came out 2 years ago And it is something I have been navigating in the dating world. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. But when it comes to meeting other women and like out in the wild, our gauge for flirtation and taking something beyond the friendly level is like all over the place when you're just starting out. So it was Christmas. It was this past year. And I was in TJ Maxx with my grandma and I was helping her look for some presents. And I was also going to get her a pair of earrings. So, you know, like in TJ Maxx, they have like that big, just like pile of jewelry and it's just like so much to take in. And you're like, what do I do? What do I pick? So I went to that part of the store. And next to me was another girl experiencing the exact same thing. Like there's so much jewelry. I do not know what to pick. So I kind of like noticed her out of the corner of my eye. She was a brunette. She had a big smile. Like she was tall. She was fit. She was stunning. And so already I was just like, she cute, but I don't know if I'm going to say anything. Like she cute. I'm just going to like keep looking at my jewelry. And I was also like in potato mode. I was in sweatpants, no makeup. My hair looked great. Like, that was it.
Okay, well, there you go. That's a plus.
I was like, my hair looked great, but I was like, all right, you know. She suddenly turns to me and she's like, hey, can I get your opinion? I'm like, sure, yeah. She's like, I'm going to a Secret Santa and I'm getting some earrings for someone in that group, but I don't really know them very well. Like, can you help me pick a pair? And so I helped her pick a pair, but then we started talking about how she lives nearby and she just moved to the neighborhood. And she, was looking to meet people, and she didn't specifically say friends. She said meet people. And I was like, okay, awesome, sweet. Then she started, like, you know, like that energy you get when someone is so intently interested in you that they're just like scared. Like they are making intentional eye contact, which is like a rare thing.
Yeah, you feel the energy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a rare thing in our day and age. And I'm really big on eye contact personally. So she was just staring really intently at me. Like she was very interested in what I was saying, very animated. She complimented me on my hair. Like she was flirting with me. Like,
okay.
She was giving off flirty
vibes. Yeah.
Like in the things that she was saying and the way that she was acting in her body language. So me freaking out on the inside was like, oh, okay, this cute girl is hitting on me in a TJ Maxx. Like, oh my God, is this our meet cute story? Like, this is adorable.
Yes.
So she asked for my number. I gave it to her. About an hour later, she texts me. I'm like in the car with my grandma. We're eating ice cream. She does not know that this happened, by the way. So grandma's completely oblivious. I was like, Grandma, I met a cute girl, which she knows I'm bi. So I was in the car with my grandma. We were eating some ice cream, and she texted me. She's like, hey, it was so nice meeting you. I like, thank you so much for helping me pick those earrings. Smiley face, lots of emojis. Like interest in follow up. And so to me, I was like, okay, she wants to go out. I'm down. So just for transparency, because I'm not going to flirt with her and make her feel uncomfortable if I don't know she's interested in dating. Like that's my thing with being bisexual is like, I'll just tell them if I'm getting those kinds of vibes. And if they're like, yep, same, let's go. Awesome. But if not, totally respect it. So I just told her straight up. I was like, hey, it was so great meeting you too. Like, welcome to the neighborhood. By the way, I thought you were so attractive. I really enjoyed our conversation. If you ever want to go out with me sometime, I would love that. If not, absolutely no pressure. It was just great to meet you. And so she didn't respond for 2 days. And I was like, okay. I freaked her out. But then she got back to me and she was super nice about it. She's like, hey, like, I don't swing that way, but like definitely would be down to like get coffee sometime as friends. And so that was the situation. Like I was open, I was honest. And the thing is, what was really funny is she was doing some things that I would tell my clients to do if they wanted to make new friends. So she was, again, being very interested in what I was saying, like asking me questions about my life. Definitely do that if you're looking to make friends. Don't just talk about yourself. She was also intent on getting my number as well, which you want to get a contact from somebody if you really connect with them. And then following up, which is a big thing that a lot of people don't do or are afraid to do. And she did that. And so I was like,
she did that.
I kind of like sat there and I was like, okay, like, am I giving people flirting advice now or am I helping them make friends?
Interesting, Jenna. Let's break down this example because I also think
Yeah.
You did a lot of things really just kind of right as well, like letting the flirt happen, letting the moment of connection happen versus sometimes what I hear from daters is, right, they get nervous, they get anxious, and so they shut down or they don't respond, or they don't ask questions, or they just like, oh, I gotta go kind of thing. They're not making eye contact. They're looking down or looking away. They seem distracted. And now the other person is going to receive that as, oh, they're not interested. They're busy or whatever. So you just were with it. Let it happen. It was engaging. So there was a back and forth. This other person was giving sounds like some very flirty vibes at the time over there looking at earrings. And then the follow-up, I love how you phrase the text, right? That you sent to her, like kind of no pressure kind of thing, if you're interested. And I would have done the same thing. This one is confusing to me because it's very reasonable to think that she was flirting with you because she gave you her number, seemed very excited, or you gave her your number.
She asked for it. Yeah.
Yes, right. When she asked for it. And then that follow-up was very, lots of emojis, right? Seemed very excited to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that one I would have thought for sure versus being nice, that's a flirt.
Yeah. Like it wasn't just nice. It was assertive as well. It was
Yeah.
an assertive kind of nice.
Intentional.
So I just think it was an interesting example of trying to gauge whether or not someone's flirting with you or someone is just wanting to be friends.
And I think from your flirting experience story at TJ Maxx, one thing I feel like I'm also picking up on was how it ended. Like you didn't take that as a personal rejection. Like you really didn't like let that totally take you out of the flirting game or the dating game or really affect your self-confidence, your self-worth, how you're feeling about yourself. So coming back to this classic question, are they flirting or being nice? I like framing the flirt as a practice, a style, as a form of communication, because once you have that be the foundation and where you start, it then opens up the experience to be ultimately a little bit of a give and take, back and forth. How are each of your interactions going to be received, but puts you so much more in control of what experience do I want to have versus trying to read someone else's actions, read their mind, trying to interpret everything. You're in, right, your friend chat, you're talking to your mom or your grandma. Oh my God, were they flirting with me? Were they being nice? I mean, yeah, ask your support squad, ask your friends, get some feedback if you will. But also I just say to an extent, Delulu is a Salulu. If it's a flirt to you, then it's a flirt. Yeah. So then you can pursue it how you want to pursue it, and then detaching from those expectations. Like, so if it doesn't work out the just right way that you want it to, you're going to be fine, flirty.
And
you're going to be fine.
It is the foundational confidence that I have in the situation where no matter what happens, if I get rejected, I'll be fine. Like, I'll be okay. I just walk into the next room and I try again. Like, it's not something that is going to defeat me so quickly. And that took a lot of time. Like, even in a friendship situation, like, even especially in flirting too, but like, I feel very confident going into a room and being like, yep, I am myself, and you can accept me or you can reject me, but at the end of the day, I will be myself, and I love that. So, yeah,
I love that too.
One of my favorite ways to flirt with people in a bar is just going up to them and being like, hey, like, I love your outfit, great pick, like, or great shirt. Like, dudes love being complimented on their choices, and if I tell them they've made a good choice in something, that instantly like gets us in a conversation, because then they're like, oh, I got it like from here, and like my friend picked it out for me, and like I think it looks great. And
guys don't get a lot of compliments, so that's a great flirt strategy for sure. In these last few minutes, Jenna, I want to hear a little bit about your bisexuality journey. I think there's some flirties curious to hear about this part of your story. Maybe for the flirty that's brand new to this or thinking about it. Yes. How has this been for you?
So, I mean, if I'm being fully honest with myself, I knew I was bisexual in high school. So there are some female friends I had where I was like, something's going on here, and I like something about this. And it, like, of course we remained friends. I did not take it anywhere past that, but, like in high school, I just was starting to get those feelings. And I had like a friend who came out as bisexual in high school. And I, for the most of my life, thought I was just interested in dudes. And then come college, I had an experience making out with a woman in Australia where I studied abroad. And then I was like, okay, like there's definitely something here. I really like this. Women are nice and they're pretty. They smell nice and they kiss great and they have soft lips. I'm into this. And so I, again, did not act on it, did not come out about it. Of course, a few close friends knew I did it, but I didn't necessarily be like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm bisexual. Like I still just held on to that for me. Okay. And then during the pandemic, I had just moved to a new neighborhood and I was on Hinge. And this is when the pandemic was like kind of dying down. So like we're being safe. But I went out with a girl that I met on Hinge and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna like try it and see how it goes. Yeah. We went on a walking date around the neighborhood. We had hot chocolate and we got some like mulled cider and it was just fun, just like hanging out. And we very much were like hanging out in a very friendly way. And then I had a roof in my last apartment. So I took her up to it and I was like, I'll show you some views. Let's see what happens. You know, this is like an opportunity for either of us to do something if we both like each other. So I was like, okay, we're going to go to the roof. And we were just talking and getting like closer and closer and closer together. And then she was like, can I kiss you? And I was like, yes, please. Yes. Do it. And so we made out and then we dated for a few months. And honestly, it was a little bit overwhelming to be in my first bisexual relationship because I was trying to navigate what that meant for me and my attraction to men as well. And it was both of our first like same sex relationship. So we both were trying to figure it out and we're both bisexual too. So there's that element as well. Okay. At the end of that relationship, we just, you know, I think we're very overwhelmed by it. And we took a step back and just became friends. Maybe a little bit more than friends because we did like meet up with each other a few times after that. I'm just like, why didn't I let myself explore this sooner? And that's something that I was really thinking about. And so after that, I've just given myself that opportunity to go and date women, and I date men as well. I'm dating a very nice guy right now, and he's lovely. I am bisexual. That's not going to change. I am very attracted to women as well. Yeah. Are you cool with that? So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you got to have healthy, honest communication, honesty a theme in the conversation today. And a couple things that I'm picking up from what you were sharing were this idea of readiness too. Like I think sometimes we come out or we start to explore something as unfamiliar, maybe uncomfortable or new to us. And we realize, oh, it isn't maybe as scary as I thought, or, oh, maybe I actually kind of like this, or, oh, not for me, but at least I gave it a try. And we sometimes ask ourselves, why didn't I do this sooner? Why didn't I try this sooner? But ultimately, like you have to be ready in a sense, at least a little bit, not fully ready, not fully healed, not fully have it all figured out by any means. And it is a lot of letting go and letting yourself grow into something new. And that is an experience you have when you are bisexual and you're discovering that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. And then before we go, I wanted to highlight one thing that I feel like was happening in that first same-sex relationship. And that is communication, honesty. Like you were both figuring it out and it didn't work out long term, but it sounds like you were more or less in sharing a lot together. So you were figuring it out together is what I'm trying to say, rather than trying to figure it out together, but apart, which I think happens in a lot in dating and relationships. Yeah. Which hopefully made it a little bit simpler. Exactly. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, Jenna Anderson, thank you for being on this Flirtini today. Now officially part of the Flirtations community. Where can the Flirties find you, follow you, and perhaps work with you for some friendship coaching? Yeah, well, you can definitely find me on TikTok. My handle is my friend Jenna. If you say it out loud, you feel less lonely. So are you following my friend Jenna? That's why I picked it. I am on TikTok. I'm getting onto Instagram, so I will be on there soon. If not now, by the time this podcast comes out. And I'm on LinkedIn. I write posts about friendship and like helping people time manage their friendships a lot, having tips on there. And then I also have a landing page for those who are interested in working with me. I would love to work with you if you're experiencing loneliness. And you want to work on your self-confidence to make friends anywhere you go. I am here for you. I'm your hype woman. I'm your ride or die. So that's where you can find me.
Amazing. I will have those links in the show notes below for this Flirtini. Jenna, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Benjamin. This was awesome.
All right, y'all, that's a wrap on this Flirtini, the Are They Flirting or Being Nice episode of the program. Thank you so much to friendship expert Jenna Anderson for being on the show today. Her links are here in the show notes for this episode if you'd like to follow and work with Jenna. All the info is there. Thank you, Jenna, for being on the show. Okay, Flirties. Thank you to you for listening, for tuning in, for streaming wherever you may be in the world, on whatever platform you're listening on. Can't thank you enough for being here and doing this with me. We're doing this together, flirting, dating, loving ourselves. Yes, having a journey of sorts, an experiment of sorts, an experience. Yeah, something like that. Okay, before we get too unhinged here at Flirt Headquarters, please rate, review, subscribe to the show if you haven't already, and share this episode or another with a friend, family member, coworker, neighbor, someone you even mildly like, someone you want to share some BFE, Big Flirt energy with. I love you for it. If you've already done it, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, signing off officially here at Flirt Headquarters. My name is Benjamin. I'm the Flirt Coach and Gay Libra. Flirty. Happy flirting.